Welcome to the Pop Culture Junkie podcast. I'm Olivia, here with my fellow junkie.
I'm Shauna.
And I'm so excited. I haven't seen you in a long time. I want to hear what you've been up to, what you've been obsessed with in my absence.
I missed you so much. I feel like there's a big space between us.
It's the hole in our heart for Nicole.
I'm going to pretend like we haven't just spent the last 2 hours catching up with each other.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, it's good to see you.
Love you so much.
I haven't seen you till right now. I am almost done with Bridgerton. I'm on the finale of season 3.
Okay.
You know, I'm not enjoying season 3 as much as I thought I would.
Yeah.
I can't quite pinpoint what it is in my brain that I'm not liking about it as much. Because I really like Penelope. Her and Colin, I'm convinced by them as a couple. I don't know. They went from being like just friends to deeply fucking in love to, oh my God, I'm really mad at you. Just very quickly.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I think
the pacing was very weird.
They built their friendship and I can see like a genuine like caring there for each other, but they didn't give us enough time to be like, oh, like Colin sees her in this way now and that way.
I totally agree. I guess we were supposed to think over the course of 2 or 3 episodes, because I think they kiss at the finale of episode 3? Or at the very end of episode 3 or 4 or something?
Yeah,
episode 4.
They kiss and then there's the carriage scene.
Oh, you're right. Okay, so the carriage scene isn't until episode 4.
Yeah, that's like the cliffhanger.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden they're wildly in love. And we know that she's been in love with him, but now he's fully on board, devoted to her. I don't know. It felt a little rushed.
Yeah. I just felt like they were doing too much. Like, why do we need another family member or all that?
Another family member.
Like, normally it's like one love line, one storyline.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's why I texted you and I was like, are we supposed to care about Francesca? Because I really...
Yeah, she was like a genuine baby in the last frame when I watched it. Yeah.
They recast the actress, I think, from last time we saw Francesca. And now all of a sudden we're supposed to remember, oh yeah, there's another Bridgerton daughter you should give a fuck about.
Mm-hmm.
And she's kind of bland.
Yeah, she's an interesting one. I think she looks like the Phoebe, what's her name, from the first season enough. But
she's beautiful.
One of my friends said she looks gorgeous, but she has like an Instagram face, not like I'm a Regency beauty face. I think that's kind of where
I could see that.
From.
I could see that. And you could definitely tell this season, like, I think, the actress who plays Penelope.
Nicola Cockla. Yeah.
She's got like acrylic nails on and falsies. Like, girl, come on.
Glow up time.
Season 1, they didn't have, it was very light makeup, very realistic. And now they're like, we're leaning into the fantasy a little bit here. She's going to have some acrylic.
Yeah, we're just going to go with it.
I don't know. I'm enjoying it. And so I figure I'll finish the finale in the next day or 2 or whatever.
Okay.
And then I started reading Fourth Wing, which is a novel that I know you have already made your way through. Mm-hmm. Let me pull up the author.
Rebecca Yaros.
Thank you, baby. Thank you.
Yes.
I'm really enjoying it so far. I am only on chapter 7, but I did start last night. So I'm trying to read fast so you don't yell at me like you usually do.
Yes. You've picked up the pace.
I'm trying.
That's good.
I'm trying.
That's good.
I feel you on my shoulder.
Why are you so stupid?
Read faster, Trinidad. Yes, mommy.
I'm like that one really mean chef in The Bear who's like, you'll never amount to anything.
Oh my God, Joel McHale's.
Yes.
Like, I have never seen Joel McHale be so mean as he is in The Bear, because he's usually so funny.
Yeah.
And you see him in The Bear and you're like, oh, Daddy Chef, no.
Yeah, you're like, why are you yelling at me?
But yeah, so I'm enjoying Fourth Wing so far. Again, everyone who's listening, watching, I just started. So I don't want anyone to get mad at me. But it does give me Divergent vibes really hard.
I agree with that. I think that there's only so many fantasy ways to play it. I don't know why no one can think of another one.
There's so many tropes that they're hitting.
Yeah, like the magical college kind of thing, because that's Divergent as well. That's Harry Potter.
I mean, I'm okay with a magical college, I guess. And it kind of reminds me of anime and stuff. Umbrella Academy, My Hero Academia, and a lot of animes, they all go to like a hero college or a magician college or a soul reaper college and then learn their training and then level up. That's what I'm kind of trying to go with it as.
Yeah.
It's just like, I'm not like all the other girls. I have silver in my hair. This is my childhood best friend. We don't want to have sex. Yes, we do. Oh, there's a guy over there who wants me dead. We're definitely not going to have sex in 15 chapters. Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
It's
but
a
I
little
am enjoying it.
heavy.
I am enjoying it. Yeah.
Yeah, I really like it. Iron Flame was such a popular book release last year.
The second
Yes,
one?
it's the second book in the Fourth Wing series. The series has a completely different name, though. It's not even like the Fourth Wing series. It's like another thing. But it's super good. The third one's coming out in, I think, October? No, don't quote me on that. It's
sometime in the fall.
I think it's actually at the very beginning of 2025.
Okay.
But
so I have a little bit of time to finish this one and the second one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can do that.
Not that I'm going to take that long because I really am enjoying it. Like I've been just making my way through it.
You never know.
You never know. They do also, I don't know, like, okay, I am new kind of to this like fantasy romance genre. I know you are a veteran.
Yeah.
So they have the signets in Fourth Wing, which are like the dragons give them, I don't know, I'm just like, does every fantasy book have to give you a tattoo?
It's more like a bond, but yeah, there's always like
and a touch of darkness.
Yeah.
Hades gives her the tattoo to like, I don't know. And then obviously in A Court of Thorns and Roses, I don't know. It's just
maybe it's like a popular thing in Greek mythology or like Norse mythology. Because a lot of fantasy books are retellings of Greek, Roman, and Norse mythology. That's ultimately like what they are.
Yeah.
Why a lot of them become similar.
Yeah.
Where
I'm not complaining. Yeah. I love me a good trope.
Yeah.
Enemies to lovers. Come on.
I just think it's so interesting.
Let's go.
Like, what were the Greeks on? We've really been like, that was a hit. Dude, let's keep replaying it.
The Greeks were horny and bisexual, and I love that.
Yeah.
I love it.
But for us to be retelling stories from then.
Oh, I see.
So
and we're just like, all we need to do is just retell that Greek story over and over.
Yeah, and that could be that it's the most inherently human thing. And before
to be horny and bisexual.
That too. I do believe that. But like this type of storytelling is just inherent because what if the Greeks like learned it from other people? You know, that I think that stuff's pretty cool.
I think that is so interesting too, and not to get too deep and weird, but like if you look at the Bible as a piece of literature too, it's like there are so many ancient texts that kind of follow the same tropes for so many of those because humans just kind of inherently crave a certain plot point and type of storytelling. Yeah,
a lot of them are just borrowing from like other cultures. Yeah. So very interesting. Squirrel.
So we're talking about the Bible and Greek mythology on this episode.
No, but I really like Fourth Wing. I think that I like ACOTAR more, but I am really excited. I think Rebecca Yaros does a great cliffhanger and is setting things up really well. But that also makes you really angry that you don't immediately have the next book. So it does kind of create that void within you. But maybe
that kind of just reminds me of when we were all used to be waiting for the Harry Potter books to come out. And you finish one and be like, what the fuck? Like you have to wait for the next one to come out.
Yeah, wait for the date, all that. But yeah, it's been really, really good.
I'm excited. A Touch of Darkness was good because it was just so filthy. Mm-hmm. It was filthy.
Yeah.
Which I loved. But the plot was a little...
They were really leaning into the Greek side of it. Yeah. They were really like, you know, the story arc we're telling. We're not adding anything else except sex.
And I was okay. I mean, did we tell the story of why I started listening to this? Okay, we did because you were listening to it, and it got me going. It got my engines revved.
I love that for you.
Fourth Wing has engine revving, right?
Yes. Okay. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's better than ACOTAR, I think.
The doing it?
Yeah, I'd say it's in between the two of those.
Yeah. Don't tell me who does it. I won't. Okay. What have you been up to?
So I have been traveling in the skies. Speaking of engines, we've been traveling a lot for work. And I normally fly American. And so I have been perusing those movies and TV shows. And it got me to start Palm Royale, which is with Kristen Wiig, Laura Dern, Ricky Martin.
Ricky Martin?
Yeah, and a ton of other really, really famous actors in it.
You had me with Laura Dern.
Oh, I love her so much.
But like Ricky Martin's in it too. I'm here for it.
Yeah, it's so good. And I'm escaping the other actors' names, but they only have the first 3 on the plane. And it's so interesting. It's such a silly little funny first person kind of narrative within a murder mystery. Okay. But it does in like Palm Beach, Florida, within a country club. So it's a very like silly kind of premise.
I just flashed back to my last job for a second. Yeah. Sorry. Working car auctions in Palm Beach, Florida.
Yeah, right. And so it's kind of like the story of like these elites, and it's a little bit of like a murder mystery whodunit. But I think they do such a good job at bringing in all of the politics and class and wealth disparity.
A very Republican. That's like right by.
Yes. Mar-a-Lago. Yeah. And so it's so good. It was so funny. So I watched the 3 on the plane over my various travels. And whenever I go into town, my mom watches my dog for me. So I spent the day there and we just binged the entire rest of the season.
Oh, your mom watches it too? Yeah. Oh, that's so cute.
It was so good, honestly. Everyone should watch it.
What's mainly it on?
Apple TV.
That is the one streaming platform that I don't have, and I'm pissed.
They're making really high quality television to try to get people to come in. I would say do it because I selfishly really want a second season. It was so good.
I mean, I haven't watched Ted Lasso still.
Yeah, same. Morning Show is very good.
That was good. Nicole's like favorite show. She's passed on now.
Yeah.
That is Nicole's
Jennifer Aniston in it. So that checks out to me.
Yes. I don't know. I need to get on it. I don't know. I have an app. If I have an iPhone, can I just... does it have anything to do with Apple? You just pay for it? It's just any other platform?
You can download it on anything, but yeah, you have to pay for it.
Does it come with my iPhone?
It's a subscription, yeah.
I don't know. At this point,
I just demand this to be free.
You know what would be great is if we could invent something where you could just watch any television show you want and you could just flick through it like with a remote and just be like, I don't like that. And then like go to the next one and be like, I don't like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I think a lot of people knew what you meant.
What if we could just
made a
get
lot of
back
money
to that? Or get to that.
Where do you think we are?
I know. We got to spend more money than we have.
Oh, okay. Oh, you weren't making a joke.
I was making a joke about cable and how cable would be cheaper than all of these platforms.
But
combined.
The way you described it was streaming.
No, because for streaming, you have to pay like $19 here, $19 for that one, $19 for that one. Cable is all just mushed together.
And did you think cable was free?
No,
okay.
But my parents paid for it.
It was free to me.
Cable was cheaper than paying $15 a month for 5 different streaming services that we all have now.
I think Hulu, cable is Netflix. Now cheaper, but at the time it wasn't, and that's how Netflix and all those got created. Okay, it was so
Hulu,
expensive.
Netflix, Disney Plus, Apple TV, Crunchyroll. How many more do we have?
Crunchyroll.
Oh, that's the anime one.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a little niche.
No, lots of people like it, and you're going to like it soon.
Okay.
A little spoiler for an upcoming episode.
Yeah. Olivia watches anime.
Olivia watches anime for the first time.
Yeah.
Why did I read that in my head as like a Always Sunny title? The gang watches anime.
There you go.
I love
The
it.
producers will like that. You'll be like giving them the episode title right there.
The gang watches anime. Write that down. Write that down.
Write that down. Write that down. Help us out. Well, my other obsession we're, again, going to spend a lot of time talking about today. Shauna has twisted my arm, or should I say my stomach.
I've beat her into submission, into a coma.
In the best way, because she is cooking some stuff up. We are going to talk about The Bear.
Yes, chef.
We're going to take a quick break and we're going to get cooking. The Bear recently dropped all 10 of its 3rd season. A 4th season has already been greenlit, so hopefully we don't have to wait very long. But the show has been amazing with critics, viewers, tons of social media hype throughout this process. And if you have heard us talk throughout these episodes, Shauna has been trying to get me to watch this for a very long time.
It's so good.
And I don't know what it was about it that I don't think it was the right time or the right place. But I will tell you, over this last weekend, it was more like a day and a half, I binged.
You binged this so fast that I told you, slow down, the fans will understand. You're like, no, I was like,
I'm doing it. I'm doing it. And so once I got to the second episode, I was pretty hooked.
It gets you really quick. It's like Breaking Bad in that way. When the first episode you watch and you're like, well, shit.
Yeah.
Here we go.
And I'm curious, did you ever watch Shameless?
You know, I haven't, but I've seen a lot of clips on Instagram, which is stupid, which make it look really funny and interesting.
Yes.
I think it might happen eventually, but I've also heard that Shameless is kind of like Weeds, which started out really strong and then I despised by the end. And so that kind of sits
when Emmy Rossum leaves, who's like the main character of it, it gets bad. Any show that continues on after a main character leaves, it's just going to be bad.
It like know when to stop, know when to call it, and that's why I'm so glad. Like The Boys is ending next season. Breaking Bad knew when to end.
Yeah,
like, call it before it sucks.
Yeah, I was a avid Shameless fan. It's 8 seasons. I'd watched it after it was in its last season when I watched it, actually. So by the time I got through 8 seasons, and this was back when television was not 8 to 10 episodes per season, it was a lot. So
it was like 22 episodes.
It is a very big commitment. But it is some amazing television, and that is actually how the world met Jeremy Allen White, who is the main character in The Bear. Now, Shameless is set in Chicago, and it's also about a very dysfunctional family.
So it's very similar to The Bear.
It is very similar to The Bear, and so it was a little bit difficult for me to see him as Carmi and not as Lip from Shameless, because it is kind of similar.
I mean, both Chicago. Real quick for anyone who hasn't watched The Bear, it's an American comedy drama television series. Do you think it's a comedy or a drama? That's so funny to me. It was like it's won comedy awards, but I
would say it's a drama series.
Me too, right? Like it feels. There are funny moments, but for the most part, you end an episode and I'm like, I kind of need a cigarette and some whiskey and a steak.
Mm-hmm.
It was created by Christopher Storr for FX on Hulu. Jeremy Allen White stars as Carmi Brizzato, an award-winning chef who returns to his hometown of Chicago to manage the chaotic restaurant that his deceased brother left him, a sandwich shop called, The Beef?
The Beef in
the original
north
beef?
Side of Chicago.
There it is.
Or North River.
The supporting cast includes Ebon Moss-Backrack, Ayo Edebiri, Lionel Boyce, Liza Collins-Zayas, Abby Elliott, Maddie Matheson, John Bernthal, who plays the dead brother, and many more celebrity cameos.
John Bernthal is just, what a man.
I love him so much. Man. He's such a good and honestly underrated actor. Like, this man's going to get an Academy Award someday. He's such a good actor.
Yeah, I don't think he's an amazing supporting actor that I've seen him in everything. Like, he's really, really good at that role. I haven't seen him in a lot of leading.
He was in The Punisher TV show, which I made through the first season of. Didn't really finish the second one. He's, again, a supporting character in The Walking Dead, but he's such an important supporting character that he dies so early on in the show. And fans are still like, give us more Shane.
Yeah. My toxic trait is I would date Shane in real life.
Oh,
even
absolutely.
Though he's a cop.
We would.
He's a cop, but
I wouldn't date him, but I would sleep with him.
If I met him not knowing he was a cop and I was like, oh, I kind of like this guy, and then I figured it out, I might. Wouldn't. Like, I'm already hooked.
He's already been in me.
I didn't say that. I just said, look at him. You know?
He's so handsome. He's a good-looking guy.
He's a very, very
he comes
looking
back
guy.
as the Punisher.
And so the reason that I brought up Shameless is Jeremy Allen White was my favorite character in Shameless.
Was he dummy hot in Shameless?
Yes, but he's a little bit younger in it.
Okay.
And so, same character. And it's so interesting. It's a really similar,
like tightly wound,
wound, like a short fuse, Chicago boy, and like kind of driven in a way, but to the point where they prevent themselves from success.
That's the thing, is
they're
like
getting in their own way.
Carmi is so focused on being a good chef that he gets in his own way of being a good chef, right? Like, we know that he's talented in the show, but okay, we're going to obviously talk about spoilers throughout this episode. So if you haven't watched The Bear yet,
just same thing we did for House of the Dragons. We're going to talk about season 1 and season 2. We are going to talk about season 3, episode 1.
Yes, I've only watched the first episode. Dude, this bitch, you powered through it so fast that now you're ahead of me.
I know. Well, first of all, if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it.
This is true.
And it was really good. I went to sleep last night, probably like midnight, watching it. And then I woke up in the morning and was like, I need to know what happens next. So I just had it up on my second screen and was like writing marketing emails. There might be like a Yes Chef in an email newsletter somewhere. I don't know.
Corner. I need 55 beefs, 55 hot dogs, 50. Wait, okay. Wrong show.
Yeah. So I will say from first impressions, I had seen a lot of TikTok clips and acclaim around it. And I knew everyone said Yes Chef, but I did not realize how much. Like, I thought it was just about Jeremy Allen White's character.
He calls everyone chef and everyone calls him chef. Chef or cousin. Yeah. I call people cousin now,
that
too.
One guy's just cousin. He can't get a name.
No, Richie's just cousin.
Yeah. And so I was like, wow. And the first season, it was used enough. Second season, I was like, whoa, we turned the dial up on this.
Because at that point, everyone is chef, kind of, right? Like, by the end of second season, they have the Bear open, and he wants it to be a Michelin star restaurant. And so I think in his mindset, he's already running the beef as, in his mind, a Michelin star restaurant.
Yeah, and I love
and that's how he's treating everyone, and that's how he's making them all run the ship. And obviously, they're used to Mikey's way of running the ship, which is a little more chill and probably drug-induced.
No ship. The ship is on fire.
The ship is on fire and holes coming up throughout it.
And there's drugs everywhere.
There's drugs all over the ship. Everything's on fire. Cousins at the helm beating a guy.
I know why they do it in the kitchen, but at the very end of season 2, Ayo Adebri's father says, yes, chef. Like, she's like, have a good day, chef. And I'm like, the dad doesn't even work in the kitchen. Why
she finally earned
chef?
That respect. She earned that respect. So starting season 1, I hated Richie. I thought he was such a dick. I thought he was so obnoxious. I was like, this character is just needs to leave. He can't stop screaming. And I have like ADHD and I have noise sensitivity sometimes. So if I'm at a place and there's too many sounds at once, sometimes I get so overwhelmed that I have to like go to the club bathroom and I'm just in there with my own thoughts. And you just hear like,
you would die.
Like, I would die. But for some reason, this show I can still watch it. And everyone is screaming. Everyone's screaming the entire time. You start and you're like, Richie's a dick. We don't like him. By the end of season 2, Richie's my favorite character. I adore him.
I wouldn't say he's my favorite, but I think he's a great character.
Oh my God. When he goes to the cooking school.
Oh, it is
not the cooking school, but to work in the restaurant.
Yeah. So I was essentially live texting Shauna throughout this because again, I watched it a day and a half. But I just texted her when I was going through it, and I was like, Marcus and his love for pastries is making me want to cry. I did cry for the record. I was boo-hooing. I'm like, it was just over this man's pure love for pastry art. And I was like, it's so awesome.
Marcus is so pure. I adore him.
I know. I feel really bad for him.
He's just a soft baby angel.
And so we're going through and like I think an episode goes by and I go, the guy who plays Richie is so good at douche who can't take accountability, but somehow you still like him.
And I just said, oh girl, just you wait. And
he is Marnie's boyfriend in The Girls.
I totally forgot that he was in The Girls.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say you haven't seen The Girls.
No, I watched The Girls, which is the peak white it's just girls, you're right. Not the boys.
Yeah.
Girls. It's peak white feminism, but I watched the first. I think the only season I didn't watch was the final season because I was just no character on that show is a good person. They're all terrible people, and I couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah,
but I forgot he was on it. Yeah, but you're right. He's absolutely the same character.
He is very good at playing that specific guy who's like loud, boisterous.
Do you know he's in the MCU now?
Oh.
He was cast in Fantastic Four as the Thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you've seen the original, or not the original, but the Fantastic Four from back in the day.
Yes.
You know the Thing then? That's exactly what I was getting at. You've seen the Jessica Alba, Chris Evans. He's the Thing in the upcoming one.
Okay.
So, excited for his entry into the MCU.
Yeah, and if you've never seen the show, little bit of a trigger warning. It does start with someone unaliving themselves.
There are a lot of references throughout the show. I mean, I think the show itself is honestly, it's about cooking and owning a restaurant, right? And the struggles they go through it. But honestly, it's a show about trauma and family, generational trauma. I think that is the overarching theme here. Yep. Generational trauma, PTSD, and mental health. Absolutely. So the show starts with Carmi's brother, Mikey, completing suicide. And he leaves the beef, the original beef. I'm just going to call it the beef.
Yeah.
To Carmi. And it's this family-owned sandwich shop. And then we get like flashbacks throughout this series about like their family dynamic.
Very messed up.
Oh my God.
Same as Shameless. Like it's this really, really messed up family where they don't really deal with anything.
Nothing.
Lots of alcoholics, lots of dysfunctional family relationships. And I think it does a good job at personifying the different ways that kind of chaos has in a family.
Totally
and you
agree.
can really see it within each of those different siblings. Mm-hmm. And I think very, very interesting. I think our parents are all, my generation at least of millennials, like our parents were raised to really disassociate, ignore, and those patterns do show up within your children. I think it's a really good examination of that.
We didn't talk about mental health in my family growing up.
Yeah.
Are you a little stressed today? And like it manifested itself later, right? And I feel like that's the age group that Carmi's in. And you can tell that he's totally processing all of the trauma that he went through. The Christmas episode.
Yeah.
I kept waiting for you to get to that. It's the most stressful episode of television I've ever watched in my life. Jamie Lee Curtis plays their mom. And she
kills it. She's so good at it. She's so good at it.
And she's so just drunk and angry and sad and just...
Yeah. And it's like not about the kids. It's all about her. Mm. Yeah. I had a family member who passed away from, taking their own life about a year ago. And I thought it was a really great representation of how people go through that grief, how families try to support each other, or like almost they're not okay, so they're not asking how each other are okay. I thought it was beautiful.
Yeah.
The ending of season 1 with the note and all of that, like...
Oh my God. Let's break that down. Go ahead. Because you just watched it, like 6 hours ago?
Yeah. And so the entire time, Carmi is like, why did he leave me this restaurant? Like, I don't understand. They had a kind of a rocky relationship.
They loved each other so deeply, but Mikey was so into drugs.
Yeah. Mikey was his idol, like that older brother that you want to be and look up to. Got a little rocky at the end. He said, you can't work in this restaurant, which I think was really just his way of trying to get him out of staying in Chicago forever. Go prove yourself.
Absolutely. He wanted him to go to New York and
do those things.
Learn about cooking and to like, if you're just stuck here at the beef.
Yeah, and I think it was that moment, but he can't recognize that at that moment. And so he's like, why did he leave me this? And he's spending this entire time trying to figure it out. The business was in debt. The taxes weren't being paid. And he's trying to figure this all out. And he gets this letter at the end.
That cousin's been hiding from him, right?
Yeah, because it became real in the family. And so throughout his entire life, because he was his role model, he would go to him and say, it doesn't matter, let it rip. Like, let it go. You're anxious. It doesn't matter. Let it rip. And that would always be what he talked to him about.
What Mikey would say to Carmi,
Yeah, to get him out of a panic attack or get him out of his head and just go with it, go with the flow and be in the situation. And in his letter, it basically says, let it rip. And it says The Bear, and which is essentially the title of the show.
And that's Carmi's nickname. They call him Bear.
And it's the restaurant that they were supposed to open together, but they had their falling out and it never happened. And so a lot of the first season is him grappling with, how do I honor his legacy? how do I turn this business around? Do I even want that? How do I bring my current life into my old life? I thought it was just so well done.
I really like that they showed Carmi going to an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting too, because addiction is a family disease.
Yes.
So it affects the entire family. It's not just the person who's ill. And so him going to these meetings and he's full of a family of addicts.
Yeah.
And then he's finally able to open up and talk about his story. I thought that was just so beautiful because a lot of people probably don't realize that you can go to these meetings as a family member of somebody who's, you know, an addict, something like that, to get support. So I thought that was just such a nice touch. And Jeremy Allen White, it's like a monologue in that scene. It's just so well delivered. He's such a good actor.
It's so good. So I assumed he was from Chicago. He loves Chicago. He's from New York. He's from Brooklyn.
Is he really a Brooklyn boy?
I was like, what? I was a little upset by that. But again, I grew up in Chicago. So
I love Chicago. Okay, I love New York City. I've been to Chicago twice, New York City once.
I've actually never been to New York City, but I'm going in October.
They're both just so amazing and so good in their different ways, right? The pizza. This show made you so hungry, right?
Yes. Thankfully, I did it all in one day. So it was just one big craving. I did end up like making some crazy like pancetta mushroom thing because it was in pasta. But
I'm over there making like easy mac. Like, yes, chef. And my dog's looking up at me like, you stupid bitch.
I consider putting real cheese in like one of those easy mac little cups. I consider that cooking.
I consider if you make instant like ramen noodles, but you crack an egg in it and you chop up some green onions and like some spice. Cooking.
I cooked things.
Hashtag cooked. Things. Hashtag
well, how do you define cooking? Like, is it the act of heating food?
You know, that's a great question.
Microwaving is cooking.
Because then all of those easy bake ovens. Did you ever have an easy bake oven growing up?
I did.
Did you eat them?
Yeah.
They're good, right?
The oven or the food?
The oven itself. Did you break down those metal pieces and just consume it?
Nom, nom, nom. Nom, nom. Carmi served it to me. I didn't know.
Dude, Carmi could serve me shit and I would eat it. Oh my God. Jeremy Allen White and his like underwear campaign.
Yeah. Well, while we were talking, I also just remembered he took Iron Claw, which is also a very dysfunctional family relationship.
It was so good. But by the end of it, I was like, I'm so sad. I want to watch something funny.
Yeah. Now I'm just like really curious. I want him to do an interview and suddenly give a little breakdown about why they like it so great, especially like a actor or actress who's been in the industry for, 50 years. They have so many good insights about directors and their process.
I agree. I really liked those. Maybe not as much as like Hot Ones does. Has Jeremy Allen White been on Hot Ones? If not, he definitely needs to be. And so does Ayo.
I think he might have been.
Incredible.
She honestly is such a good actress in this. I know she's a great writer as well. Like she wrote Bottoms, which is with what's her face? Rachel Sennett. So good. So good. I think she's just incredibly talented.
She's incredible. That episode where she kind of goes like restaurant to restaurant and tries all the...
And it was his restaurant. I loved it. Oh my God. serendipitous. Yes, so beautiful. So amazing writing.
I guess the very end of episode 1 of season 3, that's where I left off. Episode 1 is very artsy. There's very little dialogue. It's set to just a musical score.
Yeah, it's all flashbacks.
It's a lot of flashbacks mixed with like him apologizing to Sydney about being locked in the freezer and calling cousin. And
so what I thought in season 3, episode 1, again, spoilers, is that we were seeing him after he had like left again and he just decided he was going to leave the bear restaurant.
Yeah.
And then we were kind of flashing back in between. But you said that you thought it was them flashing back to when he first left.
Exactly. And that's why his sister was, it flashed back to his sister being like, I love you. Here, take money. And he's like, it's fine. I don't need your money. It's fine. Because if he was trying to leave the bear, she'd be like, are you fucking kidding me after everything we've been?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, no, she was like, take money, please, please. Yes, it's fine. And then it flashes back to him and he's training under Joel McHale, who just walks by and goes, fuck you. It's just like, oh my God, I can't imagine you're working at any job and your boss just walks up and is like, hey,
Fuck you.
Suck a dick.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, shit, all right.
It did give me PTSD to working in a restaurant where, like, God, the amount of unprofessionalism that happens, you're like,
feel
wow.
That. And not like you and I were ever cooks, but like the food industry is just insane. I've worked decade long in the food industry, right? Before I found like my career now. But I worked at this place. I won't shout them out in case they listen and they decide to sue. I don't even think they're in power anymore. In power. It was a Greek restaurant. And the name of the restaurant was based off of a popular rom-com movie.
Okay.
And they would literally shout at me, Shauna, you're so stupid. Shauna, you keep fucking up. I was 19 years old.
To be fair, you probably were fucking up.
But I was like a 19-year-old waitress. I'm like a freshman at college. I'd just gone through a life tragedy. Yeah. And I was such a fragile baby angel. And I remember driving home one day from this job and I had my little waitress apron on and I still had my checkbook in it. And I was speeding, trying to get home and just weeping. And this cop pulls me over for speeding and he comes up to me and I'm like, yes, officer. He's just like, you know how fast you're going? Yep. And he just looks at me and he sees my little apron and I'm just weeping. And it probably helped that I was like a 95-pound platinum blonde ASU girl. And he's like, just slow down, sweetie. Life will get better. Don't worry about it.
You're like, really?
And I went, yes, chef, officer.
Yes, chef. Yes, chef. Yeah.
But yeah, the restaurant industry is brutal. And I can't imagine what it's like working in those like Michelin star cutthroat, trying to prove yourself kind of shit. Because like if it was that bad working at my big Greek place that I won't say the name of, then.
My big Greeky place.
My big Greek wedding restaurant.
Yeah, that place does suck though. I've been there. I haven't worked there, but the food's not good, so it's definitely no bear.
Don't eat the tzatziki.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah. Don't do it.
Allegedly. I've seen the inner workings.
Do not
Allegedly, don't eat the tzatziki. Allegedly, I've
20 years ago. Just kidding. We're like 15, but we'll
wait, how old do you think I am? Jesus Christ.
An ancient being.
I worked there 65 years ago.
Yeah, I think it's really going to be interesting. I keep thinking about Sydney and how they're going to deal with her anxiety and her process of kind of seizing control as a woman within a very male-dominated industry. I think
as a woman of color, too.
Yeah, as a woman of color, absolutely. I think it is just so well done. The side characters, where I talked about Marcus, Tina, the other one.
I love Tina's growth throughout it. Because in the beginning, too, I was like, Tina's a bitch. And then by the end of it, you're like, oh,
but it's
I get
insecurity.
it. I get it. Like, and she, you know, and her and Sydney's relationship.
I think they just did a really good job about workplace insecurity and the feelings that come with that. And, you know, you trying to prove
yourself.
Yeah, prove yourself and work over imposter syndrome and ask for help and like realize those things. I thought it was just an amazing, well done series. So I'm glad you forced me to watch it.
That is another important overarching theme that I think you just hit on is imposter syndrome.
Yes.
Like no one in this entire show thinks that they're good enough at what they do. I mean, maybe that's just part of, we see the flashbacks, obviously, to Joel McHale's character. I don't even know if they give his character a name. And if they do, please, fans, let me know, besides just New York chef or like his head chef teacher. But he just convinces him the whole time that you're dirt,
like berates him.
Suck.
He gets like a kick out of it.
Literally, like, and then when the bear is opening before Carmi locks himself in the freezer, he thinks that he sees him, right? And it's just that imposter syndrome that we all feel no matter what we do for a living, that you suck at this. Like, why did they hire you? But you have to keep telling yourself, actually, no, I kind of know what I'm doing here.
Yeah. Well, also, if you win a James Beard Award, like, you're really good.
Then you're actually kind of
you're actually very, very good at what you do. And so, yeah, I thought it was just so good.
I'm so glad that you liked it and that you watched it.
Yeah, I think that, it really connected with me because of that family member and like the dynamics. I'm from there. I love to cook.
All the Chicago B-roll too. I was like, you must be loving this. Just all the beautiful shots of Chicago And all just the food and the subway, or not the subway, but the train or whatever.
Yeah.
Like
the the uncle who's kind of like mob adjacent, like loan shark
Uncle
guy.
Jimmy. Right?
Uncle Jimmy
Yeah.
reminds me of my dad so much. Looks like my dad a
Didn't
little
we
bit.
say in an episode that I was your dad at some point?
Yeah, you guys have really similar tastes and things.
I love
that
that.
you really like. Yeah. Yeah, it's funny.
So I remind you of Uncle Jimmy too?
No, because that's more an appearance.
Okay, that's
like,
good. I don't want to look like
and like background. Like, yeah. I mean, you met my dad. You met my dad. Doesn't he look like him? Do you not remember? You just drunkenly asked him for a cigarette.
Oh my God, I forgot I asked your dad for a cigarette.
It was on my 30th birthday. We were at Talking Stick Casino. And
I forgot.
Shauna's never met my dad before.
And, okay, let me preface this with I only smoke cigarettes when I'm really drunk. In case any family members are listening. But yeah, your dad gave me a cigarette.
Yeah.
Oh, what a great guy.
Love him.
Love that guy.
Oh, Johnny.
Fucking love that guy.
Call him Uncle Johnny.
Uncle Johnny.
Uncle Johnny.
Hey, where's the friggin' gabagool? Where's my friggin' cigarette?
Oh, now you're getting New Jersey.
Oh, shit. You're right. What's a Chicago accent?
Kind of like what they're doing, but like it's less like you know?
Guys.
It's more like big. Like kind of, more.
Where's the fucking cigarette?
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, it's a little closer. It's like a mix between a Minnesota and a New Yorker.
I say that felt a little Minnesotan.
Yeah.
Where's my fucking cigarette? Wait, no, that was Irish.
Yeah, we got a mystery. We got a mystery pop.
We're on Shauna mystery accent tour.
Yes. So it seems like this season 3, again, we're only going to talk about episode 1. I've seen the second one so far, but it seems like they're really going to go for kind of dismantling this Carmi as this perfect good guy, really making him not necessarily like an anti-hero. Or would you kind of say that from the first episode?
You know, I just hope that Carmi repairs the relationships in his life, because in the first episode, we see him making that phone call to Richie and apologizing for the way that he spoke to him restaurant night, or the opening of the bear night, I should say. Yep. So like Sydney and Richie and the staff held down the opening night of the bear, because Carmi's in the walk-in the entire time having an existential crisis and like locked in there. And they held it down. Yeah. And so I think we're going to see him the first couple episodes really try to like mend those relationships, especially like the one with his girlfriend too. That he like,
his friend that's a girl.
Oh yeah, his friend with benefits girl, like that he kind of dumped from like the other side of the freezer door.
Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty crazy.
And so I hope we see him mend some relationships. I would love to see Carmi have some sort of personal life. I mean, and we kind of touched on that in season 2 with him getting a girlfriend.
Yeah.
Or exploring a relationship with a woman. So I hope that we get to see more of that in season 3, because he's such a young guy and he's so stressed out. Dude's gonna have an aneurysm by the time he's 40. Like,
he really is. He's smoking enough cigarettes already.
Yeah, so much.
It's just so angry.
He's just angry and just veins popping and smoking and just like.
Yeah, I think this season's gonna be. I think in his mind they survived without him, so they don't need him, and that's gonna just send him down a spiral where he doesn't feel like he's valuable.
He's gonna be like, do they even need me here? Can Sydney do all this shit herself? Because they're partners in the restaurant. Like, am I even necessary here? And then he'll definitely feel the imposter syndrome. Yeah. I think we're definitely going to see him and Sydney's relationship evolve a lot. And a lot of people have been saying, like, do we ship them? And just because there's a man and a woman on a show doesn't mean that they need to be shipped.
Yeah. Right? You don't have to love them.
Like, they don't need to be in a romantic relationship. They can be business partners and friends.
Marcus and Sydney, though. They better get together. They better get together. Oh, also, Marcus, his mom.
Oh, that's right.
Man against my heartstrings. If you're a pastry chef and you look like a little gentle giant teddy bear, come find me.
Come find her.
Come find me and show me your pastries.
Show me your pastry puffs.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I just want you. No. What makes him?
Oh, did you mean like actually pastries?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. What makes him so cute is his like purity for his pastries.
I know.
It's just so sweet.
Yeah.
So
he's a good guy. I like him. I'm excited to see where everything goes. I'm excited to see. I don't know, just everyone evolve more, and as the bear grows, and. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see if Jamie Lee Curtis shows back up and actually steps foot inside of the restaurant and eats some food.
I think that they've been priming her, so I think she'll be back.
She's primed.
She's finished all those Halloween movies, so she's out of contract. She's ready. She's ready.
But is his mom ready?
No, neither of them are ready.
There it is.
Yeah.
There it is.
Well, that about wraps up this episode. And I must say, I think it deserved at least 1 Michelin star, maybe 2. Don't you think?
God, I'm so hungry.
We'll go make some food. We'll make that omelet with the potato chips. Now, where do they find you on social media?
You can find me, Shauna Trinidad, on Instagram and TikTok at Shauna Trinidad. SHAUNATRINIDAD.
And you can find me, Olivia, on Instagram at Livy Maries, LIVIMARIEZ. And you can send us your thoughts, hopes, wishes, recipes, dreams, whatever you like.
Pastries
for sure. By first going to the Pop Culture Junkie podcast social media links. You can find them and so much more on our website at popculturejunkie.com. From there, you can find the podcast on all platforms. Follow, rate, subscribe, and review the show, giving us that sweet, sweet validation we crave. And come back next week for another hit of pop culture. The Pop Culture Junkie podcast is produced by Jeff Markin and Cheryl Lightfoot for the Pop Culture Entertainment Network.
So entertainment.